Hi everyone, Ryan here from Fight Game Analysis, and today we are going to be talking about the fight that just wrapped up between Shakur Stevenson and Oscar Valdez. Before we jump into that, if you've been enjoying the content, please go ahead and click on the like button and also subscribe to the channel. Really appreciate your support. Alright, so the big fight just wrapped up. Oscar Valdez versus Shakur Stevenson. Man, what can we say? It was an absolute masterclass by Shakur Stevenson for the most part. I mean, don't get me wrong, you look at it, we gave Oscar Valdez, two, maybe 3 rounds, something like that. But other than the third round and maybe the sixth, he didn't really seem like he did that much. The entire time we were looking at Shakur Stevenson controlling the action. Right away from the beginning of the fight, he comes out, starts to establish the distance. The first thing we see is Oscar Valdez start to reach on his punches. He's slipping, almost falling down. But he comes out in the third round, does some good work, starts to cut off the ring, starts to really close the distance, starts to be able to get on the inside, utilize his work the way he wants to, right? Starts to kind of work the angles. Cut off Shakur Stevenson when he's trying to get distance and when he's trying to make space and everything. That's like, okay, now we're going into the fourth round, 2-1. Are we going to see Valdez start to turn it up here? Shakur immediately comes back, takes control of the action. Like, he showed us everything. He showed us the ability to work combinations, showed us the ability to work the jab, showed us how when Valdez was trying to come forward, he's going to be able to keep him at that middle distance or keep him outside. He was going to be able to keep those little half steps back, land the counter shots, dropped him in, I want to say, the 6th round with a check right hook. Oh, maybe the 5th round, and then followed up with hard shots in the 6th or something. I forget exactly. I only watched it, but it was towards the middle of the fight. He dropped him once. And followed up in the next round with some more hard shots and started to get off. By the time the 9th round comes around, late in the fight, he's just picking them apart like a sniper, just landing single hard shots, just hammering them. And I mean, look, we can't take anything away from Oscar Valdez. We said going into this fight that he was a very good fighter. We said coming out of this fight that he is a very good fighter. This doesn't take anything away from him. It was just the Shakur Stevenson showing out. And on one hand, styles make fights. I said that going in. I'm still going to continue to say that. I thought this was a perfect setup for Shakur Stevenson in a way. It's just he's got that kind of style. He's athletically gifted. He takes that big wide stance. He's got just a master of controlling distance. He's got very fast hands, very fast feet. He's got those quick twitch fibers. It's going to be tough for a guy who's got to get down the inside. It's going to be tough for a guy who doesn't have faster feet to be able to close that distance. There were times when Valdez flashed little bits of being able to do it, but over the course of 12 rounds, man, that's tough. That's tough. Other than that, he was just relegated to landing some single shots here and there. So, post-fight, everybody's obviously heaping praise on Shakur Stevenson, asking him what's next. Seems like the guy who was asking him the questions kept trying to goad him into going up to 135. He's like, hey, Devin Haney's here. Devin Haney's in the audience. Is that a fight you want to see? And, I thought Shakur handled it real smooth. He said, look, man, he's a friend of mine. I've got nothing but a lot of respect for him. And in the fight, in the future, that's a fight that we can make. I mean, he's got a big frame. I guarantee you he's going to be moving up to 135 probably, who knows, year, maybe 18 months. He did mention wanting to unify the belts at 130 pounds. So we're going to see him possibly going after Ogawa, chasing Gutierrez, something like that. Who knows? Those fights don't really excite me. Those fights don't thrill me. Shakur Stevenson is incredibly talented, man. When you talk about the fighters there at the lighter weights right now, under 25 years old, Gervonta Davis, Ryan Garcia, Devin Haney, Teofimo Lopez, and Shakur Stevenson. I get it. All the other guys at 135 pounds, Shakur Stevenson at 130. But think about this. Shakur Stevenson is going to be moving up, but don't even think about them potentially fighting each other or anything like that. Just think about those guys. How much buzz they get, how much they're talked about, how young they are, how we talk about their incredible promise, their incredible talent, what they're going to bring to the table, everything we've seen so far, just all of it wrapped up. Now, think about the fact that when we're talking about all those guys 15 years from now, right? Basically when their careers are at their very end or maybe even over, we could very well be talking about how Shakur Stevenson has the best career out of all of them. It doesn't necessarily seem like that right now. He hasn't been getting the most hype out of all of them right now, doesn't have the most belts out of all of them right now, or the biggest money fights, or isn't on pay-per-view or anything like that. But when it's all said and done, there's a very real possibility that we could be talking about him as the best fighter out of that whole group. He shows incredible promise, incredible talent. His level of competition continues to move up. And while his level of competition continues to move up, his performances continue to get more impressive. Think about that for a second. He came out there against Jamal Herring in his fight before this one and battered him. Comes out there and a better fighter against Oscar Valdez and loses what? 2 rounds maybe? Scores the knockdown. Just look great all the way around. So let me know what you guys think. Were you as impressed with his performance as I was? Were you expecting this to look that way? Did you think it was possibly an off night for Oscar Valdez? And what do you think's next for Shakur Stevenson? Let me know what you guys think.